Rasheda, how can we as women use our feminine energy to heal ourselves?
Well, one, I think, just being a woman, we have it already, right? Women are built with incredible, incredible energy. And in terms of my own experience, I'll share with you my story of how I experienced healing myself. At the age of 26, I was diagnosed with cancer. Unfortunately, at that time, it was at its last stage, and I've never been sick in my life. And I sat in front of a doctor who told me that I have 6 weeks left to live. They'll give me treatment, and if I have the chemotherapy treatment, then maybe they can stretch me to 6 months. So sometimes you're in life and you don't have choices,
yeah,
right? And this was huge, and not only did it affect my own life and everything around me, but my entire family.
Yeah.
In fact, my entire love circle. And when I say love circle, I mean my friends and family and those who know me. Because when you're diagnosed with such a thing, it's not just you, it's like the whole family's diagnosed.
And you had it in your lymph nodes, right? Which is a very hard place, to heal. How did you deal with the fear of the diagnosis?
Well, interestingly enough, it's when you start looking at body parts, we can trap emotion in different body parts, and the lymph nodes is one area. I mean, if you look at what the lymph nodes does for the body, it's your entire system. That allows you to operate everything. It's in fact your wasted system, and it allows everything to circulate within your body. And on a, let's say, an energetic level, without trying to be too far-fetched away from healing, is we can easily trap fear within our lymphatic system.
And you have a process that, so you researched everything you could on wellness, right, at the time in your recovery?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it started with the first part of the healing, if you like, was not to fight. And this is, we talk about women's energy. We're not the fighters, right? As women, we are lovers, not fighters. So my first thing was, because the doctors had told me that, I believed them. So I didn't want to spend the rest of my life fighting a fight.
Yeah.
So
fighting the diagnosis.
The diagnosis becoming a battle. People use the fight for cancer, battled against cancer.
And you don't like using those words.
No, I don't use those words at all. Even when I do runs, I run for good health. I'm not running against cancer or fighting cancer. It creates,
manifests.
Well, yeah. If you fight, you'll continue to fight. Then that means there's a fight to fight. So that was the first part of the healing process. Is I didn't have an internal fight. And as women, we can do that naturally. I did have a fear. And my fear was also not related to, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? My fear was, how does my family deal with that? It's not right. A mother shouldn't be burying their child. So I couldn't get over the fear of what my family and my mom in particular would have to go through. And that was my biggest fear, and that was my prayer. My prayer was, to my Creator, to give them whatever they need to get them through that, because I'd accepted that. And what I found through my process was that this not fighting gave my body the energy to heal. Otherwise, everything I would have been using, all that energy I would have been using to battle in this fight.
And so you did?
I did. And I did research, because, back onto that question, my research was about, okay, if I'm going to have a short-lived life, then I'm going to restore my body to its best health it could possibly be in. One, to take this drastic medication, you know, of chemotherapy. It's hard, and it's so harsh on your body. And I thought, I'm going to get my body to its level where it's best to be able to take that and handle that, right? So that's why I wanted the strength. I wanted that strength, and I thought, you know, if I'm going to die, I'm not going to die in pain. I'm not going to die in pain. If it's going to take, then I'm not. So I needed my body to be as fit as possible. I wanted to be as alert as possible for my last days. So, you know, just that alone made me, it healed me. I started to restore my body. I started to learn about how do you restore your body. You know, what do you need to do? I never knew, other than what I learned at school, you know, in biology and science.
So what did you do?
Well, the first thing, I changed my diet.
Right.
What I learned was that what you eat is a direct correlation to how you feel, and how you react and behave, and also the physical ability of your body. You know, we all know when we've eaten too much, what do? We're like, oh, we've eaten too much, and you feel lethargic. So as soon as you eat something, it has a physical impact on your body.
And your exercise?
Again, for me, it's another form of nutrition. So what I knew is I have to bring nutrition to my body, and there's 3 ways of doing that. One is what you're physically eating. So it's your physical nutrition. The other is your nutrition for your physical body. So what kind of nutrition are you giving your body movement? And the other is emotional nutrition. What are you feeding your mind?
Thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. So I read up on these 3 areas, and I focused on doing that. So I changed my diet. I started learning about alkaline foods.
Green foods.
Green, you know, live foods, green juices. Now, I mean, you know, if anybody knows me, juice. And one of the things that I actually, was my old belief system was, I didn't want to become one of those people who are constantly worried about what to eat. And I mean, I love food. I exercise so I can eat all these delicious desserts and chocolate and so on and so forth. So I love food. So I thought, I don't want to be one of those people who go to restaurants and I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And so they don't end up socializing.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. But actually, when I started to practice it, and I think it's a practice.
Yes.
Because it's a new practice for your life. So as I started to practice it, I started to find more and more foods that I could eat, as opposed to the belief of, oh, I can't eat anything now. My taste buds changed. So a salad to me is delicious.
Yeah.
You know, whereas before salad would have been an add-on to my meal. And now I can add in so many different things to a salad. So your taste buds change. So you taste foods differently. You know, so that was a huge thing on food. So I do a lot of raw foods, and it's not about that's it now, I'm a vegan and I eat raw foods. I eat everything. It's just my rule to myself is 70% of the time I will eat good, nutritious food, and hopefully they're as green as, you know, they can be.
And, you know, to have a nice healthy green juice in the morning, when you get organised, it's quite easy and enjoyable. In fact, it's more tasty than sometimes cereal or toast or, you know, or something else.
Because it physically changes your taste buds. And, you know, when you exercise and have a workout, and then there's always a bowl of fruit in the gym, right? And that apple, I always have an apple. That apple is the most delicious apple. And you think, where did they get that from? It's just a regular apple.
You're just hungry and you need it.
Well, it's not even hunger. It's just your taste buds have been detoxified with your workout, that it's back to its original state, and that's how we taste food.
Can you just talk about lymphocyzing and the importance that is to you in your life, and just, you know, what you learnt about your lymph nodes and how to exercise them as we age?
And it's so important. I'm glad you've asked that, because I only learned about lymph nodes and what they do for our bodies when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when I started to learn about that, it's very rarely do we exercise our lymph nodes, and our lymph nodes need exercising. They need air and space and nutrition to be able to circulate around our body. So a way to lymphocyze is rebounding.
So trampolining for people who don't know.
It's exactly, and I just learned that word as well. I used to call it a trampoline until I realized it's called a rebounder.
Yeah.
And it's just those, and we've all seen them in the gym or wherever. It's those tiny little trampolines, and that's all it is. So, have fun with your kids doing it as well, and step into your own inner child whilst you're doing it too.
And you rebound every day, right?
Every day.
And for how long?
It's just literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It depends, because one of the other things of healing is, when I was talking about having nutrition for the mind, I say and have a lot of affirmations. So, whatever goals I have in my life, I project that I'm already there. I am wealthy in abundance, I am vital and healthy. So I use my rebounding time to say these affirmations out loud. And if I've got, say, a big corporate case that I'm working on, then I might use an affirmation around, I go into the office meeting and signing this deal was so easy. So I'm rebounding, saying, and signing this deal was so easy. They became my best and favorite clients. So I use that time also. And it's great, because when you come off the rebounder, not only have you exercised your lymph nodes, you charged.
Yeah.
You're mentally charged. So you kind of, and you do it in the morning.
Yes.
You're ready to go with your day, and you're like, boom.
Yeah. And then finally, how have your thoughts changed to the path to wellness and to live a healthy life?
My thoughts have, actually, I would say I was gifted when I was diagnosed. Has been to date the biggest gift of my life, because it actually gave me the gift of life in my own fingertips. I felt the essence of life. My background is in finance and wealth. I grew up in a humble upbringing, and I was determined to be successful in a wealthy way. And when I got sick, and I would say I think I did get successful in a wealthy way to my measure, but when I got sick, I realized that wealth has no meaning when you have no health. So actually, health is your first wealth. So it gave me a new definition of what wealth actually was. So my feelings in life now, before I used to be very corporate, and you just bottle things and think, I'll deal with that later, I'll deal with that myself. Again, it's a woman's power is
to step in.
Is to share, right? I spent some time once with John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and he said, in Venus, where the women are, to talk about their problems doesn't mean they're looking for a solution. Their solution was to say it out loud and just talk about it. Whereas, on Mars, if you're going to speak about a problem, then it's because you want a solution and you want it in less than 1 minute.
Yeah.
So we all have these problems with our partners. It's like, I don't want you to give me a solution, I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
So just that also, so as women, we also have that processing ability, and it's when you just step into your natural self. We talk about feelings. How many times we say, men don't talk about feelings, but women do. And by talking about feelings and where you're at, and just the power of articulating can heal so many things in your body. Because one of the things that I learned was a physical ailment started with a thought.
Yeah.
And what's a thought? It's a feeling. So,
and then finally, a lot of people told you had to be careful.
Yeah.
And then, can you continue the story?
Yeah. So, as soon as I got sick, it started. My family, my friends, everybody said to me, "Oh my God, you've got to be really careful now with what you eat, where you go." you know, as if I became this invalid. And actually
Or
I was
fragile.
still, yeah, fragile. And it's funny because I also behaved in a fragile way. You know, I started walking slowly and I thought, just because I created this, you know, and everyone said, you've got to be careful, you've got to be careful, you've got to be careful. And I spent a year and a half in treatment and recovery and so on. And when I was ready to go back to work or, you know, work again, I just thought, oh God, I have to be careful. So now my definition of being careful was I have to find a job near my family, near my home, and that would be me being careful. And I'd been diagnosed whilst I was living in the UAE, and I went home and had my treatment there. Until I had a colleague of mine call me and say, you know, Rasheda, I've got this great opportunity for you. Give me a call when you're ready. And I thought, you know, it gave me this, well, I wonder what it could be. Maybe he wants me to do recruitment in the UK, or what does he want me to do? I had no vision of anything else other than being careful and staying at home. So I called him and he gave me this opportunity to come back to Dubai and the UAE.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I said, oh, I can't. I was disappointed. I thought you were going to give me an opportunity to England. And he said, well, why can't you come? I said, I can't because I have to be careful. And he said, of what? And I thought, I'd never asked myself of what. I just told myself I have to be careful, I have to be careful. And I said, I don't know. And for the first time in a year and a half, I'd asked myself, what do I need to be careful of? And I realized that if I had stayed in the UK, I would have been being careful and waiting for cancer to come back.
Yeah.
Which means now with what I've learned, it would have come back.
Yeah.
And I realized if I stay, I'm waiting to be re-diagnosed. So I knew I'd have to go. And what is it, being careful? What is that?
Mm. Waiting for something to happen, I suppose.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not living my life being careful.
Yeah.
Because I know, hey, if I mess up, I have the courage, the bravery, the intellect to stand up and correct my mistake or whatever it is. So I would rather push on ahead and fall down several times than be careful and never experience anything. So don't be careful, just do it. You'll figure it out on the way.
Thank you.
Fear is when you meet yourself and you know you're going to do it anyway. Love is life. It's like it should be in the same page in the dictionary. Love equals life, life equals love. Courage means, this is strength. For me, courage is deep. It's the ability to face whatever it is that you want to face in life. Courage is, it's like that magic ball inside you. Feelings, I guess the meaning you put to your feelings, and your feelings, it's the definition of your life.